Greetings and happy Friday. Happy Friday to one and to all. Happy weekend. Perhaps it is Saturday, depending upon where you are on the globe. It is Friday. So, those who may catch this pre record or replay, give yourselves a round of applause. As a matter of fact, let me get it started by giving myself a round of applause for making it through at least 2:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, March the 21st, 2025, because we're living in a world and times where sometimes when you leave your vehicle, when you leave your office, you could be walking around in your home. Anything can happen. But at this particular moment, give yourselves a round of applause for making it through yet another week. Honor and praise to the Most High, at least for myself and any believers out there. That being said, it's a beautiful, glorious day even after we had torrential downpours of rain yesterday. But they say sometimes you have to give way to the rains before you see the sun. So, love and light to everyone. You know, earlier this week, I provided a disturbing story on Minnesota Senator Justin, and now I know his correct last name. So, again, my apologies for being incorrect when I first spoke on this story. His name is Justin EICHORN. And amid many calls for his resignation after he was arrested for allegedly soliciting a minor for adult entanglements, he did just that on Thursday. And according to reports, he is awaiting a bed in a halfway house. Now, let me give you a little bit of background. Justin EICHORN, former senator, Republican senator. And people may say, well, why did you have to put Republican in there? Number one, because I wanted to. And number two, because that's the party. Simple as that. So now you understand why I did that. 40-year-old Justin EICHORN believed he thought he was speaking to a 17-year-old. There have been reports, and let me go ahead and say this again. I implore you all to always fact check, cross reference, and just basically conduct your own thorough, independent, meticulous research. Because, as I said many times, we are humans, we make errors. There could be inaccuracies in stories, updates, and as I mentioned when I first spoke about this, some stories may be recanted. There are many things that can happen. So, to be prudent and responsible, just do a fact check. It doesn't really take that long. That being said, 40-year-old Justin EICHORN thought he was speaking to a 17-year-old. And according to reports, there are some disturbing text messages out there where Mr. EICHORN knew the language He knew code words, which leads me to believe, and I would like to believe 90% of the time I'm a responsible person with at least a modicum of intelligence. That leads me to believe this is not Mr. Eichhorn's first rodeo. This is not the first time he's participated in such behavior. As a matter of fact, Mr. Eichhorn was not alone. No, ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you an update. Justin Eichhorn was among, and again, fact check, 14 men arrested as part of a, you know what, ring. And there is planned to be on this coming Monday a press conference. This is the police chief who spoke about this in brief. 14 men. 14 men. So again, Justin, you were not alone. Now, sadly, Justin, according to reports, is married. Not surprising, most people in politics, I did not say all, but most, are married or have been married. And according to reports, I believe he may have 3 or 4 children. And unfortunately, a relative who owns a business, according to reports, is now receiving death threats or unalive threats. I can't stress enough to you the many people who are totally against this type of behavior. And as I mentioned, Justin Eichhorn is 40 years old. He thought he was speaking to a 17-year-old who happened to be a police officer. And one of the statements I believe I can mention, according to one of the text messages, is because they were placing ads, basically putting out the bait to see what chum, you can look that up, but I'm sure most of you know what that means, would take it. And allegedly, his response was something to the effect of, I'll just say, hot girl on this night. I can't even begin to imagine what his wife could possibly be feeling at this time, knowing all of this, what his children, and I have no idea how old they are. I am not even going to speculate, but this is an embarrassment not only to Justin Eichhorn, his family, his community, and certainly the constituents and others alike. Now, let me also present to you, because you know I dig a little bit, the monies. And this is public. He had 12,935 contributors in 2023. And here's just a few of them, and I'm going to later look into each of these. But what's disturbing, and there are a lot of disturbing things when it comes to this case, he was the spearhead, if you will, to such programs and activism efforts to protect young people from these PDF files, these people who prey on the young. Yet and still, it appears, allegedly, that he is the exact prototype of who he wanted young people to be protected from. And unfortunately, if you pay attention to a lot of what's going on social media, you will find projection at its finest. And what I mean by that is some of the people who speak the loudest and lobby about certain things, if you go back just a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit in their background, you will find that sometimes these are the same people, or the people that they're speaking against are actually in their circle. We've seen this time and time again. So it just, again, befuddles me that no one knew anything. There were no strange behaviors. There was nothing that made someone raise an eyebrow. Well, I'm going to show you another piece of information, and this may be out of order. However, it's public information and you can look for yourself. In 2022, there was a, and I don't mean to laugh, but as I said, when you're looking at certain people and their behaviors, depending upon what type of behaviors, I've always said, peel back layers, and I guarantee you'll find something. Well, in 2022, and again, it's just alleged, there was a complaint. What I'm just disgusted against the campaign committee of Justin EICHORN, where it was alleged that there were not there were non-disclosures, I'll just say that, of in-kind contributions. And you can look for yourself. It's just a 6-page document. And again, this may not be totally in order. I know that is page 1, and you can look at that at your leisure if you're interested. But the bottom line is there was enough, and again, this was 2022, that led to, I'm going down for you so you can see these. It was enough, and you'll see at the end of the order, and this is the last page, where there was enough. Now, whether an investigation was actually conducted, I cannot say. But according to this document, a formal investigation into the allegations that warranted this complaint was ordered. So Justin Eichhorn did not have a pristine past. And to be fair, I believe, and I'll be the first one to say, I do not have clean hands, but I don't have these type of things in my background either. And again, what makes this story despicable to me is, according to reports, how he boasted of having background checks and to make sure that children and young people were safe. And you, sir, allegedly, and I have to say allegedly, but there are documents out there, you were in a truck. And that's another thing, ladies and gentlemen, especially those that reside in certain area codes that allow your children to run around. All it takes is a truck or a van to come into a neighborhood, a nice neighborhood where they have been in several times and noticed that there are no adults out there because it seems just because it's a nice neighborhood, things don't happen. Well, unfortunately, these are the type of things that these P's do. That they look for that. They look for that. So, according to reports, he was in a truck and had planned to meet this person for about 30 minutes. And then, as I said, get involved in a tryst, a romp, if you will, but that didn't happen. So, in closing, Justin EICHORN has submitted his resignation letter. There will be a special, sounds like someone else, a special proceeding to fill this now vacant seat. Now, this does not, by any stretch of the imagination, change the level of power. So I want to make that clear as well. Again, 40-year-old former Minnesota Senator Jason EICHORN, who was arrested amid allegations of soliciting a minor, has resigned from his position. He is still incarcerated, waiting for a bed so he can then be transported to a halfway house. And as I mentioned earlier, he was not alone. He was just among 14 arrested as part of a sting. I'm going to repeat this ad nauseum. Those of you with children, teenagers, pay attention to what they're doing online. And this may be a hard pill to swallow for some of these spouses out here. You may want to pay attention to the behavior of those with whom you've exchanged vows. I've said this before and it's been proven. Sometimes the people you think you know and believe that will never betray you, you've shared your mind, body, and soul with. And this is the type of result not all, but many have faced. So I am going to end this. And again, I am sure there are more Justins out there, and I am positive as I continue to look there may be some more information out there that, well, I'm not going to put the cart before the horse, but I'm sure there's more out there, that this is just the tip of the proverbial iceberg. So, that being said, enjoy your Friday. And again, please be safe, be well, and be healthier. If you like this video and any other videos, please let me know by giving it a big thumbs up. And please, I'm interested in what you have to say about this in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in, and bye bye for now.